So if you're usually on this channel, you're clicking on this video kind of like, what are we about to get into? This is new, this is different, and that's because I just want to sit here and yap because something has been on my mind. There's a couple things on my mind actually, but we're just gonna start here. The thesis statement of this video basically is, y'all have made album releases not fun anymore. And here's why. I think with stan culture, it's gotten to a point of no return. It's gotten to a point where it's just not fun anymore, where it's success over anything, and my person did it first and my person did it better than you. And it's just so weird. I just don't like the mentality. I really don't. And that might just be me. If you're watching this and you're like, well, that bitch. I love being nasty to people and holding on to these successes as if they're my own. You go right ahead and do it, but just don't do it near me. Thanks. I recently have been traveling a lot. I've been super busy. And in that time, a couple albums were release that I just did not have the chance or the time to get to. And I feel like at this point, because album cycles come and go, I kind of missed the window. I kind of missed the mark. I want to talk about them because the projects themselves are fine and we'll get into that, but it's just the environment that they were created in or that they were promoted in that is so fascinating to me, because while they're pretty much different projects, they all kind of have the same issue, and that is the fan culture. The three projects I want to talk about is Brat from Charli XCX, CXOXO from Camila Cabello, and Dopamine from Normani, which means yes, there are not going to be like full-on reaction videos to these projects. Brat has definitely lived on. It's a Brat summer, which is really exciting to have a project kind of last longer than a week, because we've had other big releases. We've had Ariana's release, we've had Billy's release, we've had Cowboy Carter release from Beyonce. Like, we have had big artists with big projects, and it just does not seem to have that longevity. And that is not a reflection on the music itself. That is not a reflection on the artist. It's a reflection of the time. I know people blame TikTok for short attention spans, but I think, and I've talked about it, I think the music industry is just so oversaturated at this point that because there's so much content always being released, we don't let these projects marinate anymore. We don't sit with them anymore. We don't give them the proper era anymore, because what do you mean? Like, Ariana's still releasing music videos from the project and the views are not there. But that's just in general with music videos. That used to be the thing of like, who's gonna hold the record for the most views in 24 hours? And now it's like these music videos are getting the same views as big YouTubers, or big YouTubers are getting more views than these music videos. And it's just such a weird thing to see, being a part of both eras, essentially. So to have Charli's Brat album really kind of defy the time, I mean, I think it's, don't get me wrong, it's an exceptional album. I was kind of weary about doing a video for it to begin with, just because it's not really in my wheelhouse. But as someone who's not really into that genre of music, it's so fun. I want to say it's a breath of fresh air, but if you've been following Charli, it's kind of what she's been doing. I just think she's really mastered her craft at this point. And maybe that's why it's just stuck with people, because it's new and exciting for a general audience. Either way, it's a great project. The rollout around it has been really great. I know there's been some remixes. The one with Lorde was really fun. It was really fun to get like that perspective of her answering back to Charli once you kind of know the lore behind it. At the time of filming this, Billy is getting on a remix, which is really fun. Like, there's a lot of smart decisions around this album, except for the beginning of it. I want to talk about just a little bit, and this might be controversial, this might be brave, this might get clipped and put on Twitter and then people start to hate me. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like how the album rollout started with the whole Camila thing. If you're online, then you know that Camila started promoting I Love It a lot on TikTok. She was posting little videos. The one famous one is her outside of the car window singing along to the song. When I first heard the song, I was very confused by it because it was so different for her. Like, it definitely was her ushering in a new era, and I think that was so smart to keep plugging in this sound in this song, because the more I heard it, the more I got used to it, and the more I started to actually really like it. It definitely primed me for that kind of a sound from Camila when, you know, we have heard nothing really like it. You look back at her debut where it's really heavy on guitars. You listen to Romance, which is a very pop-centric album. And then you look at her last album, which kind of felt like a nod to her heritage, to where she grew up, to the people around her. Granted, it wasn't my favorite album. I haven't really vibed with a lot of the music since Romance, which is why I've kind of not distanced myself, but I'm just kind of waiting. But hearing it, you know what? I was excited. The blonde hair, the aesthetics of it, I'm like, you know what? She is going in and she is gonna go out. And I feel like it was a good way to kind of transition to people's perspective of Camila, because she has had such a hate train. She has had such a long history of people just not liking her. Granted, I'm never gonna tell someone you can't like someone or you shouldn't like someone, especially if there is some history there. That's up to you. But I do think this momentum of we just hate her. No matter what she says. And it's just really weird. Like, I get not liking someone because of something, but then just move on. Don't look. Don't interact. But for some reason, her haters love to be on her ass. With the release of I Love It, I feel like it kind of started ushering new people in who maybe were excited about it, who were like, okay, like I'll give her a shot, whatever. And then the controversy happened. Charli made a video similar to what Camila did with the song I Got It, which I will admit, having heard both songs, there definitely is a similarity. And I mean, that's a whole different conversation that we need to have. And I plan on making a video kind of about accountability versus accusations. But I will say there is a conversation to be had because it does sound very similar. Now, is that something maybe they like had talked about before? Like, is there more history? Are there more conversations to that? I don't know. I'm not involved and neither is anyone else. Shocker. I know. But considering the hate that Camila gets and the way that it just kind of follows her, I really wish Charli didn't make that video. I understand it was like promotion for the Brat era and it was like the start of it. Considering all the history of it and them supposedly being friends, enough to the point where she calls her saying, hey, like, I hope you're not upset about it. It just kind of felt icky because there's so much hate already with stan culture to the point where it's like, why give people the ammo? Like, why give people a reason to keep pitting you guys against each other? Because it wasn't like it was just going to stop there. It trickled down all the way into the album and the album releases, which ironically enough could not be more different. Yeah, they have like the hyper pop punk sounds and different songs, but overall the messaging behind it is so incredibly different. And if you guys just took the time to listen to it instead of just I Love It, you would understand that. I find with Charli's album, hers is like this fun it girl who loves to party, who loves to go out and get like this kind of high, but on the way down has these realizations about herself and about life. Whereas in Camila's album is someone who already has these realizations, who has these thoughts, who has these feelings, that is going out to get that escape. But even trying to get that escape, you're never fully away from it. It's almost a mask. As far as the albums themselves with Charli's, I definitely have a lot of standout favorites. I'm actually gonna show you my ranking right here of kind of, you know, the ones that stick out to me, which ones are kind of like, whatever. I definitely have a love for the production and the overall vulnerability of the lyrics. Although sometimes can be a little simplistic, it does paint a picture of someone who is so aware of life, but it's still like living it to its fullest. Just has like those moments of taking a step back and being like, what exactly am I doing? Who am I? What do I want? And how do I achieve it? And again, as someone who doesn't really listen to this genre of music, it is something that I would put on like going out. You know, if I like really went out a lot. But I have to say, it's so funny that recently she did an event where she was like, and so many people were surprised. And I'm like, what did you think bumping it meant? The music? Her ass? Purses? Girl, no. She's about that life. I thought we knew. You're not familiar. Okay, just say that. And then this is actually my ranking of Camila's album. I have to say overall, I think I Love It was a really good single choice, but it does not represent a lot of the project. The project is very experimental for her, and it's really exciting to see, you know, kind of her usher in this new sound, this new vibe. Granted, I don't love the interludes. I feel like the track list itself could kind of be rearranged, if I'm being honest. I kind of see like where the story was going, what she was going for, but I think those interludes really just kind of take up space. It'll be interesting to see if she even extends the era, if I'm being completely honest, because like I said, I feel like these eras just come and go now, and it's just a reflection, I think, of the culture, of what people want, what people like, you know, always wanting more. But it is interesting then on the flip side with Charli, because we do have like these remixes, we do have these singles, and it has lasted all of summer. I actually really liked the one with Billy. For the most part, added something new, considering with the lyrics, it wasn't anything special. Like, it wasn't anything really added on, but it was just a vibe. It was an energy, and I really loved it. And the music video is so fun, throwing around panties. Like, that whole mountain of panties is crazy. I did see though that they're donating a lot of it to like women's shelters, which I think is really cool, especially because that coincides with the interest of our sponsor today, Bombas. Bombas is a comfort-focused premium basic brand with a mission to help those in need. When the founders found out that the #1 requested item in homeless shelters is socks, they set out on a mission to help out as much as they could, which is why when you shop here at the brand, one purchased item is also one item donated. So as much as you're getting the most comfortable material for yourself, you are helping someone else out in need, which I really love. I think that's great. I'm actually wearing one of their bralettes right now. I'm in Arizona, it's hot. So when I'm walking around my apartment, this is all I'm wearing, and I love it. Plus they have a 100% happiness guarantee, so you know, if anything doesn't work out or it's just not a good fit, you can return it. You can get your money back even if, you know, the dog ate one of the socks. They got you. So whether it is cute underwear that you want to try out, or my personal favorite, some of the socks, these are really good for working out, for running. They have the material in them so they take away the moisture, so you don't have to worry about stinky or sweaty feet. Plus I also got these socks that have like the little grippies at the bottom because I really want to get into Pilates or just even workouts at home. But girl, my feet slip and slide everywhere all over the carpet. So having these, oh my God, chef's freaking kiss, dude. So if you would like to not only get the most comfortable items for yourself, but also donate to somebody in need, don't worry, I got you. Feel good and do good with your purchase, knowing that you are helping someone out in need. Plus, new customers get 20% off their first purchase. You can follow the link down in my description box, plus use my code at checkout. Thank you again to Bombas for sponsoring this video. Without further ado, let's get back into it. So with all that being said about Charli and Camila and just the general album cycle of an artist, that brings us to Normani, which is so interesting because hers is such a unique situation and I still kind of can't wrap my brain around it. We have been waiting for this album for how many years now? 5, 6 years? Whatever it may be. And for some reason, the second we got it, everyone wanted to act like we don't have it. Where were the discussions? Like, I might have missed it. Again, I was traveling. I wasn't really on Twitter. I would have thought I would have seen some kind of conversation about it. It just feels like it so came and went, and I just need someone to explain why. I mean, I say that, but I kind of feel like I understand why. And it's not even necessarily Normani's fault or like the general public's fault, but it's her management's fault. Because I feel like we've had moments of really good momentum just for it to disappear and then them come back around with the music. And it's like, well, babe, like her core audience obviously is going to come for the music and is going to stick around. But if you're trying to usher in new people, this is not the way to do it. Like, she was trending when that album art came out. I remember seeing that cover and being like, damn, this bitch coochie on a rocket, she is here, she is staying, and she's gonna have us by the throats. And then crickets. Nothing. No album release date, no single, no nothing. It was weird. I feel like any noise that this album has made has been directly because of the fans, because of the people that care about her. And I know, you know, it's kind of a touchy subject situation because she has gone through so much in the last couple of years with her family, with health, with growing pains, you name it, she's gone through it. So I will say it was kind of interesting listening to the album and not really feeling like I got a sense of where she's been the last couple of years. I feel like overall the album's really great, cohesive. I feel like the beats were there, it was fun, there was some fun catchy lyrics in there, but I just don't feel like I got to know Normani. Kind of feel like anybody could have been saying these things, making these beats. She sounded great. Like, it was there, but I was just, I don't know. It's such a touchy thing because I'm so the person that's like, an artist doesn't need to give you anything that is their personal life or their personal experience. But I do feel like when it comes with music, there is something to be said about making it really personal and making it something that when you hear it, you're like, that's them. I really feel like that's why artists like Sabrina have really blown up, why Chappell Roan has really blown up, why even Renee Rapp has really blown up, because you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, that's them. Like, I know they had a hand in writing it. That's their voice, that's their thoughts, that's their experience, and I'm getting it through the music. Not saying that Normani has to go and write a whole song about what her mom has gone through, but I just feel like Normani has so much lore, has so many things that she could talk about, and the majority of the album focused on this relationship, which, hey, whatever, that's fine. And I understand how it ties into dopamine. You know, you get those highs, you get those rushes from these people. The sound itself is very up-tempo, very fun. But I don't know, I think I just was hoping to kind of get more of Normani herself. This is my ranking, by the way, of the project. I don't know, I feel like my top 5 are truly my top 5. Those are the ones that I gravitate towards the most. Again, overall, it's a really good record. It's a really good project. Like I said, we've seen so many big artists releasing albums. We also saw Taylor, we saw Dua, we saw Olivia, and I just feel like we have not seen a proper era. I look back at things, you know, that were released in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, even the 2010s, and it was a proper era. It was, you know, the album rollout, the album, the singles, the music videos. It was just more of a fun fan culture thing, and now it's just nothing. And that's so sad. And I don't know if that's just because it's so competitive now, and a lot of that does come from the fans. Again, I definitely want to make a video talking about this whole idea that my person did it first. And again, if you're into that, good for you, keep it away from me. But I feel like I just am having such a hard time escaping it that it's just not making music releases fun anymore. Like, I just don't want to participate in the conversations. Look how many artists have stepped back because of just the commotion, because of the conversations, because of people not understanding boundaries. I know, for example, even Chappell Roan recently has talked about just not wanting to engage in any of it because it's just too much. Granted, her success has been skyrocketed, especially the last year. It is just too much for one person. Like, why do you think so many artists are not utilizing their social platforms anymore? It's because you guys are weirdos. You guys don't know how to behave, so they don't want to interact with you. And it just comes down to that. There's no, oh, they don't care anymore, or they're too busy. It's because you guys are weird. And if we stopped moving this way, and if we had, I don't know, a better sense of reality, maybe they would more? I don't know. Because I mean, stan wars, going out for your fave, wanting them to be successful, that's something that's always been around, and I think it will always be around. I think we just need to learn to not take it to the next level. And again, holding on to our artist successes like they are our own. Because I think that's why people get so butthurt about it, and they get so emotional and almost territorial about it, because it's like clinging on to it as if it's their own. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing my favorites succeed, but I understand that that's their success. Yes, I'm a part of it. Yes, I contributed to it, but that's still on them. I don't have a #1 record. I don't have a #1 album. I didn't perform on Saturday Night Live. I'm here. I'm sad, and I'm watching. And who knows, I'm probably just talking to an empty void right now, and nothing will ever change, and this is the way it is, and it probably will just get worse from here on out. But if we can at least, in our little community, make it better, make it a fun little bubble, where like, yeah, you can have your little stand this, stand that, but again, just know your boundaries. I feel like our generation has really seen the rise and fall of stan culture and what it can do to an artist. I don't have answers. I don't know what we can do except just not be weirdos. But that's really it for this video. From here on out, I'm gonna try to be better about giving you guys reactions to the albums that are released, as long as you give me time to get to them. Like, if I can't get to them right away, don't move on too fast. Or if you don't care, let me know as well. Like, just let's talk. That's what it comes down to. I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever it is. Take care of yourself, and I will hopefully see you in the next one, which will be Sabrina. Bye.